Australia's military authorities have vowed to rid the forces of bullying and intimidation. But the family of one young soldier has accused Defence of turning a blind eye to the abuse of their son. Private Alex Curtis suffers anxiety and depression, the result, he claims, of being attacked by a superior. The incident drove the private to flee his training post in Darwin, and now he's been tried and sentenced by military police for being absent without leave. His family fears for his mental health, as Hayden Cooper reports.
When Alex Curtis joined the Army in 2010, he had high hopes for a long and fulfilling career.
He saw it as something that was secure and respectable. He was keen to, try new experience and make friendships and so forth.
But it didn't last. 2 years on, the 25-year-old is in military detention at Sydney's Holsworthy base. His mother pinpoints one incident as the catalyst for his decline.
That's basically where it all went wrong. That's where he lost his faith and his trust in the Army.
It happened at the Puckapunyal Army base in Victoria in late 2010. The young private was at a bar full of more senior officers when two picked him out for special attention. In a tense encounter, he was slapped repeatedly in the face by his superiors and accused of showing disrespect.
And then he got slapped a third time by the corporal. And at that stage, he said he just went quiet and didn't know what to do. He had his drink in his hand and he said he went to have a sip of his drink, and then the warrant officer came in from behind and basically bashed his head down on his glass and split his lip open.
Alex Curtis and his family were no strangers to military life. His brother Terry Curtis was also a soldier and on deployment in Afghanistan at the time.
Here I was serving in Afghanistan. And yet the Army's treated my family like this, It makes every good thing that I've done useless or worthless. I'm pretty disgusted at the way he's been treated, unfortunately. It's pretty disappointing that the Army can treat a soldier in this way, someone who volunteered to join the Army, and then treat him like this. So I'm not happy at all.
According to Private Curtis's family, the bar incident began a downward spiral into depression, fear and anxiety. And when the young soldier tried to report the abuse, he was ignored.
The fact that a senior NCO, or a warrant officer in this case, could be slapping him around and physically abusing him while also being intoxicated at the same time, and then being in a public place surrounded by other senior NCOs that again did nothing, said nothing. The next day, Alex goes to his next level of chain of command, to his corporal, his immediate supervisor, and nothing was done. Apparently Alex was told that just to simply ignore it. This kind of thing happens all the time, and if he was to continue with his complaint, he would eventually be more bullied and intimidated.
With no other choice, Alex Curtis continued his training in Darwin. But then earlier this year, memories of the abuse resurfaced when the corporal responsible for the assault was appointed to the same unit. Private Curtis left his base, went to the airport and flew home to Sydney, absent without leave.
And at that stage, Alex felt there was no other option. He felt trapped and he just had to leave. He left everything. He left all his possessions. He had to get out, basically.
I actually encouraged him to leave the Army. As far as I'm concerned, the Army had a duty of care to Alex to provide him a safe working place. Obviously, it's different to a civilian world, but physical abuse and bullying is just not the go at all.
For 4 months, Private Curtis evaded military authorities, but on Monday last week at Sydney Airport, his luck ran out. He'd planned a trip to the UK to see his girlfriend, but he was stopped at immigration and arrested.
Yeah, it seems to be treated like he's done some incredibly bad crime. And it's just they're not taking into account any of the circumstances that happened to cause him to go AWOL.
Private Curtis's sister believes the military police are ignoring the abuse that caused him to run away from the Army.
When the initial assault happened, he told his superior officers they did nothing. A lot of people were around to see the assault happened, they did nothing. And, you know, even now he's being treated like some sort of criminal when all he did was try and get away from an environment that made him depressed and made him feel scared.
Medical records reveal that Alex Curtis is suffering acute anxiety and severe depression. Despite this, last week he was sentenced to 24 days in military detention.
He's not good at all. We've been to a lot of psychologists, to a lot of doctors. The Army doesn't seem to care about any of it. Everyone seems to have all of the doctor and psychologist reports, but to them, Alex is guilty of AWOL, and that's the end of it.
Carol Curtis fears for her son's well-being. After his arrest, she recorded one of their phone conversations.
Have you had any sleep?
No, I had a little bit. I didn't get much last night. I had a bit of a panic attack. They gave me some Valium sort of stuff.
Did you want the Valium?
Yeah, I needed something. I was like hyperventilating and stuff.
Do you feel intimidated or bullied?
Everywhere that I am.
The Defence Force won't comment on the case, it says, for privacy reasons, but it maintains all detainees are provided with medical and psychological support. For Alex Curtis, his Army days might not be over. After detention, he's been told he'll have to rejoin his unit in Darwin, despite his desperate wish to leave.
If Alex no longer wants to wear the uniform, then why should he after an abuse like that?
I wish it was different, you know, because I had respect for the Defence Force myself before, and now that, you know, it's just gone.
Hayden Cooper reporting.